all of you who already attend for this kind of book club. We are now in chapter 9 and our guest presenter are coming. She is Rista Monica Giarno Putri and she is now student in Manchester University for Development Studies and Coach Scholarship by LPDP. Well, kita masih nunggu 5 menit Rista Monica. Biasanya kita mulai di 19.05, jadi nggak apa-apa ya, ditunggu dulu ya. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Halo semuanya, salam kenal.
Halo Kak, salam kenal.
Oke, kita tunggu dulu ya. Boleh loh Rista berkenalan, tapi nggak enak deh, jangan kenalan dulu, nanti nunggu mulai 19.05 aja, biar bisa berkenalan.
Ini saya aku baru join nih. Nggak boleh kenalan dulu sama yang udah ada ya?
Boleh, silahkan.
Boleh, biar tahu satu-satu. Tadi Evan udah ngenalin, bisa panggil aku Monica by the way semuanya. Boleh dong kenalan satu-satu biar aku juga tahu namanya.
Kenalan, yuk. Aku kenalin semuanya loh nanti.
Kalau Evan kan udah kenal nih.
Ya, Oke. Yuk mulai. Aduh, gak enak, anak-anak ini malah pada malu semua. Oke, yang paling pojok kiri aku itu Rizka Andari. Dia lulusan dari saya.
Halo Rizka. Ini aku lihat nih di Instagramnya.
Iya, dia juga penerima beasiswa Sobat Bumi. Ceritanya saat itu, tapi adik kelas kita.
Saat itu, adik kelasnya Mas Evan aku. Cuman ngikutnya sama mereka yang senior-senior.
Oh, oke.
So, dia sekarang lagi sibuk untuk menjadi konselor. Nah, satunya teman saya tuh Kak Deborah. Dia salah satu pegawai BUMN di Medan, pegawai PLN di Medan. Nah, yang bawahnya itu Mbak Arir Amadani, seorang entrepreneur di Jogja yang luar biasa suksesnya. Dan lanjut, Kak Fitra Mulyani, itu juga PLN, kerja di PLN BUMN, dan sekarang penempatan di Aceh, Loksumawe. Dan bawahnya lagi ada Hana Rosita. Hana, selamat Hari Guru. Semoga
Evan, makasih. Hari Guru.
Ibu, Bapak. Oke, so Hana, selamat Hari Guru. Hana adalah salah satu guru PNS di SD negeri daerahnya di Tulungagung. Trenggalek, sorry kok Tulungagung. Trenggalek. Dan selanjutnya ada Mas Luka Pramudita. Dia seorang mahasiswa di Australia National University dan dapat beasiswa.
Selamat Mas Luka yang sebentar lagi mau slide.
Dan dapat beasiswa Australia Award Scholarship. Dan ada Kanya Prasetyo, dia baru lulus dari Melbourne University dan dapat AAS juga untuk jurusan Development Studies. Dan terakhir ada Ali Dafa Alwafi, masih mahasiswa di Brawijaya University. Oke, so teman-teman semua, terima kasih udah join. Karena kalian sangat pendiam sekali, jadi saya yang mencoba untuk menjelaskan diri kalian. So, sekarang kita udah masuk ke 1904. Rista, Monica, ada sesuatu lagi yang perlu dipertanyakan?
Iya, by the way keren-keren banget semua yang join di sini.
Oh, ada lagi. Yang baru datang, namanya Nurul Islamia. Dia seorang UI and UX designer dan seorang marketing communication di salah satu perusahaan besar di Jakarta. Jadi dia anak SCBD gitu sih, Monik. Anak gaul SCBD.
Mantap UI UX. Bolehlah kita connect di LinkedIn ya. Nanti siapa tahu in the future kita bisa kerja bareng ya di UI UX ya. Karena aku background-nya di startup juga dulu, so siapa tahu ya kita kerja bareng in the future. Halo, salam kenal.
Ya, halo Kak. Panggilnya Kak atau Rista atau gimana?
Monica aja nggak apa-apa. Monica.
Ya, Nurul. Tapi jangan Iya, iya. Terima kasih loh Mas Evan, promo terus loh dari kemarin. Ya Allah.
Oke.
Aku jadi nggak enak.
Bentar,
Ini sebelum hari ini tuh aku sempat nanya ke Evan karena Evan partisipannya rata-rata mahasiswa atau gimana. Evan nggak ceritain secara detail setelah join. Wah, ini saya merasa ini nih
mohon
terjebak
maaf,
ya.
Anda sangat sibuk sekali soalnya.
Ini kita belajar bareng-bareng ya. Ini saya baru join juga book club-nya Evan dan founder yang lain ya, Seven Clouds ya, bener ya Evan ya? Ini keren banget. Aku udah ngomong sama Evan, kenapa nggak bikin organisasi atau YouTube? Oh ternyata udah bikin dia, mantap.
Oke, ini
bimbingan semuanya ya.
Ada lagi yang baru datang, aku perkenalkan juga langsung, itu Daniel Nur Zakiuddin, barusan kemarin jadi presenter di chapter ke-8. Dia masih seorang mahasiswa di Universitas Brawijaya. Gitu. Oke, so teman-teman semua, sekarang udah 19.05 seperti biasanya. Kita punya cara yang berbeda. Mungkin biasanya kita selalu rolling satu persatu dan satu tunjuk ke satu. Nah, aku pengen perkenalkan salah satu teman dan sahabat saya yang luar biasa ini. Dia lulusan dari UI, Universitas Indonesia S1-nya, dan sekarang dia lagi menempuh untuk studi di Manchester University untuk jurusan Development Studies dan mendapatkan beasiswa LPDP. Jadi inilah Rista Monica yang akan menjadi presenter dan guest presenternya kali ini di chapter ke-9. Buat teman-teman semua, nanti kalau yang sudah baca, nanti kalau ada pertanyaan dan segala macam untuk didiskusikan, silakan untuk berdiskusi setelah Monica berpresentasi. Oke, silakan waktu dan layar kami persilakan, Monica.
Oke, thank you Evan. By the way, aku tuh nonton beberapa video-video sebelumnya, kayak Daniel aku juga nonton, and then yang seri chapter-chapter sebelumnya juga. Mau clarify nih, ada yang pakai bahasa Indonesia, ada yang pakai bahasa Inggris. Do you mind if I'm using English for this session, everyone?
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, great. So let's learn together, yeah, because I'm also not really good on it. So let's take the time to learn together. So thank you so much, Evan, for the invitation. This is my first book club. So pardon me, I'm not a bookworm, but I love some of the books that talk about like woman empowerment or talking about like personal development. So when Evan invited me to talk about this part, I'm really excited. So let's get started. Let me share the screen. Okay, can anyone see this? All right, can anyone see my screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so good evening, everyone, and good afternoon here from Manchester. Today, I would like to learn together with you about the book chapter from Grit, which is in the chapter 9 about the hope. So Evan already introduced a little bit about myself, and I will not re-explain again, but maybe to give the context why I share what I share about little bit my background here, because there will be also a little bit story that I would like to share relate with the hope, how it actually also helped me into a particular stage. And I hope that it can also you can also bring your story and we can learn together from it. And for today's session, so really appreciate if you can let us to see you. I felt like many of you already turned on the camera, right? Maybe Citra, and then yes, I can see all the pretty and handsome faces. The other guy maybe can show the camera so then we can know you during the session. And also, I really appreciate if we can like participate actively in the discussion. Feel free also to give any input on your ideas when the discussion time comes. And then the last one is practice English together. So that's why I suggest to you guys to use English during this session. And okay, why it doesn't work? Okay, why we are here? Pardon me. It's been like part of my habit when trying to say something. I try to make clarification about what is the purpose of we are here, in order to make a guideline for me, especially to share relevant information to you guys. So I believe like first we here want to learn together from the book chapter review. And the second one, I think it would be good as well to have the purpose, take a good and relevant learning values to make us better person than we are today. So that's why what I will present to you is I will take like some big ideas from the chapter, and then like which one that's relevant, and also there is a good learning values inside the information from the book. And the purpose is to make us better person than we are today. So competing with our own self. Yeah, so that's the I believe everyone agree with the purpose that where we are here today. And okay, maybe before I enter the overall story, I would like to hear anyone want to volunteer what you guys have learned in the chapter, in the part 2 in overall, because there are like several chapter in one part, right? So can anyone please volunteer to share to me what you guys have learned in overview, in general overview? Anyone?
Okay, I come first, Monique.
Okay.
Okay, so actually in the part 2, we learn about what can I say, like after we measure about the crowd, how creative we are, and then we have to finally understand about what we inside out about ourselves in the part of how to increase our grit. And this part, actually, there are 4 factors that contain or support, or maybe like the big factor in supporting our process or our development. There is interest, practice, purpose, and hope. And the last chapter that you are going to present is actually the hope itself. But the last 3, we concerned about interest, which is we have to know and we have to understand more about our interest or our talent before we going to another purpose or another thing that we are running to. And the second one, we have to practice, because if we already have a talent and we don't have or maybe we ignore to practice, which means our talent will never grow. Our talent or our grit will just like fade away. So with this part, we have like the connection after we understand about interest, and then the second part is practice. But after we practice more, we have to be like more specific with the purpose. If we still think about the general or generalize all about our practices, which means that we don't understand how to be more, or how to be like expertise, or how to be like more in anything that we would like to grow better. All the people will always say like we want to grow like in a better version, in the best version of us. But if we still like sparkling, or if we still do not understand about a particular purpose, which means that we don't have anything that we can do. So that's why after we learn all these 3, we understand that maybe the thing that we still need is about hope, which is the hope is like something like abstract. We don't, it's like intangible, we don't see with kind of the hope, but we still really need that this hope will be like come true, or something like we can say like about dream or the goal is like. So we really want to know more about what is happening actually. So thank you, Monique.
Wow, excellent. That's really good storytelling, Evan. Anyone want to add another point of view? Okay, so yes, that's definitely very good one. Evan already shared the view, so that's actually a good example how we are supposed to see in the book, yeah. Instead of like there are so many like details in the book, but when you are able to see the storyline, it will make you understand better what it's actually about. And let me share my screen here. Yeah, pretty much in more simple view. Here I try to define what actually the big ideas the book tells us in each part, which like Evan already shared about what is the grit, which is grit differs from the talent, and it's actually can be cultivated by the effort, can grow. And now we are in the part 2, when we're specifically talking about how actually growing the grit inside ourselves, because there is a context outside or external factor, which you will find out in the next part. But in this part, we're talking about the internal factor, which there are like 4 psychological aspects, which is Evan already shared. There is like interest, practice, purpose, and the last one is hope. So this one we will talk about this part, and I'm really excited because this part is also actually a little bit talking about growth mindset. It's what do you call it? Spoiler, yeah. A little bit talk about the growth mindset, where the book itself is also amazing, really amazing. So let's get started about this chapter 9. Wow, why it doesn't work? Sorry. Okay. So again, in those chapter 9, there's a lot of details in the book, and my way to see that part in the book is I see 5 big ideas. And if you're confused when you read a chapter, just try to see the big ideas inside it and just make your interpretation on it. Nothing wrong or right. It's how you as a reader interpret the book. So this is how I interpret the chapter 9. There are like 5 big points, which the first one is actually about being hopeful. What is actually hope, and what it does it matter to us? And then the second one is about being optimist. That talks a lot about, there is a theory about learn hopelessness, optimistic, pessimistic, but that's too complicated. So to make it easy, like, oh, the big idea, it's actually talking about being optimist. And the third one is being happy. You see, there is like few parts, there's not much, but there is a few parts talking about the happiness and the importance of it. And the fourth one is having the growth mindset. And if you see the correlation between growth mindset, happiness, and optimism, it's actually those 3 things that could influence you to be hopeful. So that's why it seems like a different independent variable, but that's actually influence the end game, which is the hopeful itself. And the last one, the writer, Angela Duckworth, share her tips about how teaching yourself a hope. So it's something that you can grow inside yourself as well. And yes, that's the big ideas. And now let's see, the next slide. So if you read in the early of the chapter, there are two statements in the book. First, fall 7, rise 8. It's an old Japanese saying this one, but maybe like in Indonesia, if you heard Soekarno mati satu tumbuh seribu, so it's pretty much as similar. And then the other sentence is talking about tomorrow will be better than today. And now this is the interactive session. Can anyone volunteer to let me know your thoughts? Is this actually a hope? Is this reflecting a hope? And why you think that way? Anyone? Sure.
Hello. About this sentence, right? It is mean a hope.
Okay. Why?
Yeah. I think fall 7 rise 8 is not to describe hope, see. Because I think fall 7 here is stagnant. Dan like the condition like stable fall right there. I mean, yeah. I prefer Jack Ma quotes there say today is worse, today is bad, tomorrow will worse, but after tomorrow will better. I think there's more describe hope because the fall is have a different level of It's getting worse. The problem is getting worse. So I think there's hope will become. Yeah, that's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the second sentence? The second sentence, Ali?
Tomorrow will be better than today.
Yes.
I
Do you
don't
think
think
that's
so because we don't know what will happen tomorrow.
okay? Got it. Thank you very much, Ali. So, any other view? Maybe objection or the same opinion or agree opinion?
Can I?
Okay, Isaac, your turn.
All right. Well, I think for the one that says fall 7, rise 8 sounds like an optimistic mindset that, you know, when you do something right now, you can sacrifice like one thing, but you believe that you will get one, like the next one, like the two of them, or maybe like, you know, you will always add it up to it. So that's like optimistic, in my opinion. And for the second line, tomorrow will be better than today, that's definitely a hope that, you know, whatever you are doing today, you should always remember that the tomorrow will be a new day and you can do better than today.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. Isaac, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, thank you for your participation, Isaac and Ali. Any other person want to add? There's nothing right or wrong. This is your perception, this is your interpretation, and it's your right as a reader, right? Anyone? No? All right. So thank you very much, guys. So in my opinion, there is nothing right or wrong with all of your opinion, because again, your interpretation is your definite right. That's how you interpret a particular reading, right? And the good thing is you have exercised your critical thinking. That's the most important one. But what I would like to share here, what the book says. So because this is the book review, and let's take a look. What is actually hope? Then we can know what is actually this statement referred to. Okay. So the first part, the first idea is about being hopeful. If we look at the book in the chapter 9, so she said something like this. So it's not about how we feel about tomorrow or luck. Instead, it's about everything to do with getting up again. For example, when we say, today, for example, I got a bad mark, and then I say, oh, tomorrow will be better. That's what I feel. I think tomorrow will be better. Oh, tomorrow, I hope a good luck for my assignment. I feel that there will be luck for me in the assignment. But that's not actually how the hope described. But this book said that hope is actually about everything that we do to getting up again. Meaning, oh, I got bad marks today. I will study harder tonight, and I'll make and I hope that tomorrow the result will be better. And you have the belief that tomorrow will be better because you have put some effort to do something today. So it's kind of different thing about how you feel and what you have done to make tomorrow better. Sometimes there is a misperception in ourselves to think that when we keep hoping something will be better without we're doing something, that is actually not hope. So it has to be an effort on that to make tomorrow better. So that's really a mind-blowing one, right? And how the writer justify about this definition? There are two experience and there are one experience, and one experiment that she and the other psychologists have done to justify this story. First one, the experience from the Angela. So she was studying the neurobiology, right? So it's kind of the science that learn about the brain and how the brain can influence your psychological behavior or your emotional behavior, something like that. And it's really interesting. And if I read the book, oh, it's really complicated. And the fact that she got bad mark, and even like she was advised to drop the course during the college by the teaching assistant, but turns out she didn't quit. And then instead, like if you see the bold part here, like she tried harder. She tried to resolve to a certain level of mastery, which in here she stated like where nothing could surprise her. Which what she's trying to do is actually to learn a lot of things, to learn more, so that when she faces the assignment or the exam tomorrow, she will not surprised that there is any question that she never read before. So that's how she actually making herself to have hope with that as well. And in the end, like she got the score, which is quite good. It's B. And similar experience also she told in the book about her student that also end up the same cases. Maybe I will not explain details for the other case. And the second learning that we can get from the book is from the experiment as well. Well, when I read this part, to be honest, like it's kind of hard for me to really imagine how this happened, because I'm a animal lover, but this is a scientific experiment, right? So let's take a look objectively in the experiment. So there were like Marty Seligman and Steve Meyer, which both are psychology doctoral students at the time, did some research. The famous theory of this Marty Seligman is about the learned hopelessness. So what is this about? So they actually conducted a experiment where they put the dog in the cage, and then the dog received the electric shock. But there are some conditions, which are two conditions, where the electric shock can be stopped if the dog pushed the panel in the cage using its nose. And the second one, this experiment happens not only once, but in the several phases, which they also bring the new dog in the different days, and also the old dog and the previous dog in the different days, in order to see how is the dog respond, the dog with the experience and the dog with no experience on the electric shock. And the outcome is like a third of the dog resilient to adversity. What does it mean? So he said in the complicated words, like it is not suffering that leads to hopelessness, but suffering you think you can't control. So the first dog that actually had the experience with the electric shock already learned from the past experience, and it's actually make him able to control the suffering that he received from the next electric shock. Because when he received in the second one, he's still shocked, but at least he learned how to control, by push the button, right? The second dog with no experience, they just like passively waiting until the punishment done, because they don't have the experience to learn to push the button to stop the electricity. Another experiment also done for the rats, and also pretty much confirmed similar finding, that whenever they put some effort and they could control what was happening, it turns out the rats is actually come back stronger in life, because they have some experience and they learn how to control the same event, the suffering event that they face. So that point actually that leads into hope. And that's really interesting experiments to justify this part. And apparently, hope is also influenced by several things. And what's the other thing that influenced the hopeful itself? So it's the being optimist or the optimistic. So it's still a continuous story from the book, that after the experiment that has been done, then the Marty thinks what actually makes the dog keep putting the effort that they want their resilient effort. They keep trying to push the button and then to make things stop. They can just like hopeless, just let the punishment stop. But instead, the dog with the experience like keep showing the I won't quit behavior, and he tried to reflect that in the human experience. What's actually trigger that kind of behavior? And his finding actually leads into the conclusion that it's the optimistic behavior that actually influence the resilience that lead them to the hope. But what is actually being optimist? So here he said that being optimist meaning like searching for temporary and specific causes of their suffering. So in the human case, now we're switching, not talking about the dog case, but in the human case, when we're talking about being optimist, it's about, especially in the bad situation, we think what is actually the causes of the suffering or this failure of all of this happen, why it could happen. You find the specific reason, the bad mark because I didn't work well, I didn't have enough reference in my essay, or maybe I didn't consult with the teaching assistant in this before I write the essay. You try to find the specific reason, and you believe that it's temporary and you can improve that. That's what the being optimist means here. Meanwhile, like pessimistic will blame on the general causes and think that it's permanent. For example, it's because like I'm just so stupid for this. There is no specific reason. It's so general when you feel like you're a loser, you're stupid. So that's how the pessimist people think. And if we may highlight the fundamental objective approach in this book, saying that when you're being optimist, actually you think objectively. So it's actually define how you try to be optimist. So for example, when you lose the job, when you get fired, and the company gives you severance. And the event, actually you interpret the event with the feeling that, this is the end of the world. I will not get another job because it will be bad for my portfolio. I got fired. I will never get a better place to work than this company. And then it impacts you. You will feel very sad. And then even sometimes reflecting your behavior, you avoid the society, your friends. You didn't talk to your family because you feel that feeling makes you feel like you are a failure. And that's how actually the pessimist person will see the problem. It's different when you're trying to be optimist. You got fired. The event is you got fired. But what was the reason why I got fired? Because of the company restructuring. Okay. So meaning it's nothing to do with my performance. And then, what else? The company needs to cost some saving to save some costs. But the good thing, like, for example, they give you severance, at least you can use that for several months until you get the next job. And what's the other possibility that, you can get another job, time to search for the job after this one on something like that. So you will see the causes. As a human being, you may feel sad, like, I'm sad because I will miss my friend, I will miss the office. But you don't dwell on it. You don't let the interpretation take over all of your thoughts and behavior. You switch your focus on the event itself, in the objective event, instead of the interpretation. So it's really different, switching your view from the interpretation into the event itself. So that's how the approach of optimistic people. And it's easy to capture not easy, but you can capture optimistic behavior from some common words that they use. Like, for example, I didn't work efficiently because of distraction. they acknowledge they have specific cause for a bad event. So that's how optimistic. But pessimists will say like, oh, I screw up everything. All right, you did bad, but what was the cause actually? You just like talk in the general cause. So you can find the difference from the way you express the language. And when you find out, you can try to switch directly or focus on the event and finding the cause and how you can do better. That could lead you into the new hope. And again, those definitions and those contexts is justified by study and experience as well. It's still from the Marty. So after the previous experiment, he also like conducted several studies related to this optimistic part, which is the learned hopelessness that I mentioned before. He said that the studies show that optimistic people is fare better or doing better in the domain that not directly to mental health. For example, mostly like they do better in the school grade, they do better in the physical health, they do better in the marriage, or they do even better in the job. So that's how the study says. And how about the experience? There is an experience that Angela, the author, shared about a journalist when they interviewed some public figure and then entrepreneurs. We assume that those kind of people are successful people. They got the spotlight, they got the money, etc., and the position. And the journalist asked about their greatest disappointment. And the interesting part is most of them like think alike. They didn't say about this disappointment. Instead, the big idea here, they think that everything happens is something they can learn from. So they don't focus on the interpretation that there is disappointment. They focus on the event, that event happened for a reason. So that's how you see different perspectives seeing optimistic scenario. So that's about the being optimistic. And what the other part that influenced the hope beside the optimistic. So the next part is the happiness. So the book is only talk a little bit about this part. When they did research study that measure the optimistic part of optimistic scale, they also try to measure a happiness and a grief scale. So sorry, I missed the context. There was another study or research that done by the Angela and also the Marty, and there is another one called Wendy. He's like a founder and CEO of Teach for America institution, and they focus in the teaching students, etc. And they actually develop a hypothesis that optimist teacher will have a better teaching method. And they did a research. They conduct like survey to all the teachers to measure like 3 components: the grit scale, optimism, and happiness measurement. And it found they found that the results show that optimistic teachers were grittier and happier. So that's why you can see there is a correlation that actually happiness and optimistic is going together in order to make a person grittier. And if you see here in the first line, we sometimes think that happiness is the consequences of the performing well at life. For example, he got a good job, so that's why he's happy. Is it always the case? How if, he's happy, that's why he does the job? So happiness could be also a cause of an event. It's not always the consequences of an event. So that's how you see that that situation. So that's why in this study, it's also seeing that the happiness is not always the cause of because of the teacher, salary, the teacher having a good teaching, but instead it's become the cause when the teacher can teach better in the school. So that's why happiness is important for you to lead to lead you into the hope. So please be happy. That's really good one. That's why when Evan shared me the Zoom information link today, and I see the passcode bahagia, and I said like, oh, I love this passcode because that's what makes you have hope every day. That leads you to the hope. So yeah, it's a very good one. And what else besides besides happiness? So that's the last influence is having a growth mindset. And this is my, oh, sorry, before we go there, she took a quotation from the Henry Ford, automotive manufacturer, and also the founder of Ford, which a really influential businessman. He said about like whether you think you can or you can't, either you are right. So the relation with those optimistic and also being happy is actually when you think that you can, or when you think that you can't. For example, you think that you can't find the solution and you stop to find the solution. And by the time you stop, you will actually most likely will never find the solution. But when you think you can, and then you keep searching, most likely you will find the solution. So that's why what you think, you're right. When you say you can't, you're right. You can't, because you already think that way, and your behavior will reflect what you think. So that's why we be careful with what you think, because it will lead you to a different outcome. And next, going to the third influencing part, the growth mindset. So a little bit disclaimer, before reading the Grit, actually I read the mindset book first, and it's really good talking about how actually what's actually trigger us to behave in particular behavior, and beyond that one, it's actually our mindset. And when I read this book, it's actually really connecting dots. And apparently, this book told about the young Carol Dweck when she still studied as a doctoral student. She's from the Stanford University, if Angela is from the Pennsylvania University. And Carol is actually influenced a lot by the study from the Martin, which is Martin is the previous psychologist. They're talking about the hopelessness, etc. But Carol actually unsatisfied. So she's really critical and thinking, but optimistic. If you notice, when we're talking about optimistic, when we're talking about the optimistic, and we're talking about learn the hopelessness, it's strongly related to the experience. There has to be an experience in order people can do that. But when people actually decide to be optimistic, are they like growing optimistic since kids, or are they like growing pessimistic since the beginning? And she tried to find the answer, and she found out that this part, it's not the failures, which is the experience, that make the children pessimistic or optimistic, depending on the experience, but rather it's the core belief. So even before the optimistic, there is another reason that influence that behavior, influence that perspective, which is the core belief, the mindset about success and learning. It's something that's more abstract. And what she actually defined about the growth mindset, here she said in the book, the Angela interprets the definition of growth mindset in the great book as a belief that people can change, meaning that we can learn the skill, we can even train capacity to learn skill. And with the growth mindset, actually we can learn to do better. So the opposite of the growth mindset is actually the fixed mindset, where it's pretty similar with what the Grit actually say, but the fixed mindset is rely more on the talent. For instance, like, oh, you're genius. So, and then the other thing about the fixed mindset is when facing setbacks, most of the fixed mindset people will interpret the evidence that they are not good enough. So they will blame on themselves instead of the specific cause. So it's pretty much similar, but it's specifically talking about the mindset, the core belief before even we behave or we think another stage. And here there is another study and experience that the Angela shared, which is the first study when Carol and Angel actually did some research. They spread questionnaire to the 2,000 high school students about growth mindset questionnaire. And the interesting results saying that the students with the growth mindset are significantly grittier. And even they have better grades and they even continue to enroll in the college. And this is show that actually grit and growth mindset go together. So whenever there is a growth mindset, meaning the higher, grittier level of the person itself. So that's why growth mindset is influenced significantly into this whole part that will in the end make you become more grittier person. And the other learning point is coming from the experience, which is Bill McNabb from the CEO of Vanguard. It's the largest provider of mutual funds. And he, as the CEO, as the organization leader, he was interviewed and asked to reflect his internal organization. And in the practical world, most of the study talking about theoretical experiment, right? So this one is talking about in the practical world, actually he as a leader seeing people that do not perform well in the job is because they believe that they cannot learn anymore. They are what they are. This is how they are doing and they don't want to change. So that's the thing that leads the poor performer employees. And when we see the correlation, the experiment study actually told in the similar things. When people already have the fixed mindset, that's what brings them into failure. And when they have the growth mindset, that will bring them into the hope itself. But growth mindset, it sounds very, I'm not saying utopic, but it's not I would say it's not really reflecting 100% of human being. With human, there is a dilemma on it. But maybe before we talk about that, I would like to share a little bit. So this is the book that I said to you. Maybe in the other spare time, you can find the time to read, or anyone that already read, maybe can share also next time. And this is the differences of languages. Like the optimistic growth mindset also has the languages. You can figure out the growth mindset will say, for instance, oh, I can't do it now yet. There is a yet in the statement, meaning they can do this better next time. But the fixed mindset will say oh, I can't do this. They already stopped all the possibility. That's one of the simple examples. And there's a lot more sentences or languages here. And in the book, I cannot go to the next. The previous slide is actually captured from the book of the Carol Dweck, but from this one is captured from the book of the Grit. If you see, it's similar languages. The language that promotes the growth mindset and the Grit. For example, oh, you're a learner. I love that. So focus on the effort as a learner, not the talent. Oh, you're natural. Oh, you're talented. Oh, you're genius. I love that. So those different distinctions and the other languages here. But as I mentioned before, it sounds like a super perfect human being that always has a growth mindset, isn't it? We always face dilemma in life, and that's really fine to admit that one. So here is the case. We are human. Sometimes we face dilemma. For example, we get frustrated. I do when I have so many, for example, assignment, or when we, for example, there is disaster, COVID-19 in the early beginning. Everyone gets frustrated. That's a really human being. Sometimes we impatient. Sometimes we allow doubt in judging person abilities. Oh, I want to give the job to that person, but I'm not sure she can do that. That's something that a natural human being sometimes do. But we can control that dilemma. What we can learn from this book? So here, I would like to share 3 things. What can we learn from the book? The first one is we can acknowledge that most of people have the inner fixed mindset inside ourselves, along with the growth mindset. So they never spare it. Always think that whenever there is fixed mindset, there is always growth mindset inside yourself. So you will make yourself believe that you can change. And the other way around, when you have growth mindset, you sometimes you still also have the fixed mindset that makes you like more critical, questioning the things, like what Carol Dweck do as well. So there's always good and bad in every situation, but we need to acknowledge. And the second one is when we realize that there is always fixed and growth mindset, we acknowledge as well when the fixed mindset came up. For example, when you at 5 p.m. you want to go home, and then you got the job from your boss, and then you have been so tired and overwhelmed. You can acknowledge that, oh my God, boss, I'm overwhelmed. I still struggle to find the solution. I think I need help to find the solution. Or can I do it tomorrow so I could think better on the solution? But you acknowledge, you show your vulnerability, the other languages, but you show that, oh, there is a fixed mindset. But the fixed mindset itself saying that you are overwhelmed, you are struggling, but you have another solution. That's what will make you different and what makes you learning from that fixed mindset. And the last one is to adopt gritty perspective. This is what Angela says. The belief that actually, oh, when you get challenged, you will grow better. So when you get new assignment, oh, meaning I will learn something from this assignment. So those 3 things that we can learn to control our dilemma when we're facing those fixed and growth mindset. Okay, so this is a highlight actually. I know it's a little bit, for me, like talking is too much theoretical, it's a little bit boring, but this is interesting because Marty and Steve, if you see the difference of finding from them and Carol is the study start with the experience. So whenever there is experience, there is something that learns people to control the situation. And the Carol starts with the belief. Whenever there is belief, that will make people to change the way they see something and respond into something. So there's the 2 critical difference, but they actually completing each other like a puzzle, and it's really good thing. Sorry. Okay, this is the last part. She shared about how we actually can teach our hope after we learn some things that can influence the hope. So she said how we can teach the hope. There are like 3 simple key ways that we can try to do to exercise. Like first one is building the growth mindset, update our belief about the intelligence, about the talent, believe that it can change, it can grow. Like the example, in the neuroscience, there is also the terminology of neuroplasticity, where belief that our brain is like a plastic, which they can change whenever when we put like exercise on it. Maybe the simple analogy that I would like to put is like a muscle. When we put some exercise, it can go bigger, even you can shape this in the beautiful shape, something like that, right? So that's similar things. When we update our belief and practice this, we can grow the growth mindset. And the second one is optimistic self-talk. Just practice the optimistic self-talk to ourselves. For instance, when you find difficulties, when you got failure, don't say like, oh, how stupid I am. You say to yourself that you are stupid. No, you have to love yourself by saying that, oh, you've done well, but I think you can do much better on this actually. Let's work better together in the next assignment. So it's really fun for you to talk to yourself and to build the optimistic inside yourself. And the last one is the perseverance over adversity, meaning the most important thing for you is like to keep moving. And when you find difficulties, find a solution for you to keep moving. Include asking for the help. And I would like to share a little bit. I also had a example facing the failure. So before I came in here, I faced the failure in the first scholarship application. And what I did is in the third one is, I need help. I figure out I lack of the effort. I need to be better in the communication. I need to be better in telling a very structured story, etc. Then I need help. How can I learn this better? So I asked some of my friends that already success in the previous experiences. So that's actually how you can deal as well. Maybe like, for example, in this session, you join all the same in order for you to grow your reading habit better, or maybe improve your English better. You're asking for help by learning together with the others. So that's the third thing, how you can teach yourself a hope. And on and all, this is the conclusion. So first, that hope is what making us getting back to the right track, to keep going when things are difficult. Hope influenced by internal state, which is optimism, happiness, and growth mindset. And remember to grow or cultivate the behavior and perspective with practice. And the 3 key ways to develop the hope: changing the mindset, practice optimistic, self-talk, and asking for the help. And yeah, this is the book. And I think that's all. Thank you very much. Let's discuss together, shall we? Evan, I give it to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Monica, for your explanation. It's very clear explanation about the hope, and that's very detailed. Anyone we can listen from Monica. And now we are discussing about the hope itself. We are talking like maybe it's related on your purpose, but sometimes when you only have a purpose and you never ask somebody else about your purpose, and you are very feel like you do believe it yourself without asking somebody else, which means you don't have any helps from the others. So from the explanation that Monica shared to us is about the way she shared experience in having failure in having failures from scholarship applications. And finally, she found out that it's not enough for her to only have like growth mindset and only purpose, but she finally understood that the thing that most important is asking for help from the others. So by this conclusion, there are 4 factors that we already understand. About this, like first, interest, and the second one is practice, and the third one is purpose, and the fourth is hope. So with these factors, it will help you, or it will help us to grow better within ourselves. We know we are not the perfect one. We know that as human being, we always feel galau, and maybe sometimes when we are listening about Easy on Me by Adele, we felt like so sad, even though we didn't feel that way, even though we didn't know about the story itself, even though we already broke with our girlfriend or our boyfriend like so long time ago. But why this song is still relate? Because we are still human being, right? So this the thing that we can share together about growth mindset, fixed mindset, and also the hope itself. And you guys can also share your experience by handling your failures and how you stand up after you fail that way. Okay, anyone can share? Teman-temannya terpukau kali ya. Kenapa Anda semua diam, Bapak Ibu? Okay, Daniel, your turn.
I think I'm not gonna share my experience in handling my failure, but I wanna ask you guys here, is it possible to have a growth mindset when you are living or working in environment where most people are having fixed mindset? I think that's all.
I think Boya know this answer because she live in the fixed mindset people.
She knows the answer actually. Actually, three of us knows. Mila, Benny, and also maybe Ari Utar knows the answer. No matter how, just go. That's the answer.
Okay.
If you found or if you meet someone with a fixed mindset and you try to change it, and the result will be cannot be changed. So just go and you just go. That's the answer actually. We are living in the situations very.
Yeah, that's good. So we can relate into belief in yourself. If you believe that you can grow your mindset, you can shifting the way you feel, because what Monica shared in this explanation in this chapter is about how you feel, it's about how you think. Those are the factors that maybe relate into our life. Yeah, we may feel like very sad, and maybe we also very angry with somebody else out there, but maybe with the way we react should be something that more calm or more chill. It depends on yourself. Okay, so that's the thing. Anyone can share? Okay, one more to add. Okay,
No, I mean like I wanna add some opinion about living in a fixed mindset people. I mean like I think most of us here in this room right now living with the fixed mindset, and one of the way is find your own group. I mean like find your own people, like the way they think and the way they think and also the way they talk, it seems like you, so you will feel much better, and also it will help you to make you stay in a good way, make you stay in an optimistic thing, and also in a growth mindset itself.
yeah.
And don't forget to make yourself happy, because once you are feeling happy, then you will make everything around you a little bit better, I think.
Yeah, outstanding. Thank you, Camila, for your explanation and for your sharing. I would like to know whether about Brian. Brian is like my cousin's friend, and he is now as international student in Diponegoro University. Like the first semester, you know, guys, maybe we are old already, and we felt the way to be like the newcomer or the freshman in the university, right? And then Brian also participated in several international conference or international activity, which is he still have like huge passion, huge eager or huge ambition to grow at compared than us, right? If we talk about that kind of the growth mindset, maybe the escalate or the scale for Brian is much more higher than us. So could you please tell us, Brian, about this thing?
All right. So actually, is it too much? Actually, Mas Evan. So thank you very much for the recognition. Hello guys, I'm Brian here. You can call me Brian, and I'm international student at Diponegoro University. I'm taking chemistry. Sounds boring? No, not really actually. So yeah, actually, I think it's quite. I think I can say that it's kind of good presentation from Monica, which is talking about the growth mindset. I mean, like in Indonesian society, we really have the crisis growth mindset here. And during my experience regarding with the growth mindset itself, I also got like some insecurity at my school experience, something like that. You know, I just have what do you call it, like yeah, like anxiety in school, like, you know, your parents is really hoping that you have to be the first student in your school, and then you have to raise or achieve best scores in all subjects in school, and then you have to won these competitions, won into another competitions, and etc. And it's really pressure, and it's really yeah, it's really pressuring. And but one thing that I've got from my experience that it depends on yourself, like Mas Evan telling before. I got insecurities in my experience during my school events, that I just curious why my friends is really have a golden brain, and me just nothing. And then I just curious, and I asked them why you can be so smart in this class. What is the recipes? What is your secret to be a best student in this class? And then I just pay attention when they trying to study, to learn, and how they manage their time. I just learning step by step, and then I just be patient for that, because if you want to be a success person or something in future, you have to be patient, and you have to be smart to controlling all your emotional intelligence in there. And then by the time I just relax, I just patient, and then I just learning from other people on my school or on the other school. I just have having relations with international friends. I mean, like from Russia, from Italy, from Spain, from America, from US, from Texas. I just learning. And then one time that I've already achieved my dreams to be a national athlete, because previously I'm a karateka national too. So I've got a first gold medal in West Java, and along with that, I got first rank on my school, and that was incredible moment that I've ever experienced. I've never imagined that would happen, because I think that the best chance is not belongs to the smart one, is not belong to a genius one. It's never, but it is belongs to the one who want to be patient first. It belongs to them who wants to learn and want to accept, want to respect to another. And you don't have to be like, okay, I get it, okay, I know it. Okay, you don't have to be that. I know you can, but you have to be more respectful, to be down to earth more and more, and then you have to learn. And it doesn't matter that you have already you have friends like really smart than you are, or yeah, something like that. You don't have to be so insecure. You don't have to be sad, because we all same. We are human. We need one each other. So you have to be patient. You have to be you have to be like having a controlling emotional intelligence. So after that, you can maybe reach your dreams. You can be a successful, or you can be happiest person in this life. I think is
Okay.
That's all that I can say.
Yeah. Good, very good. Thank you so much, Ryan. You know how the freshmen explain, right? It reflects into our past experience where we were still freshmen in the university, and we were still ambitious, excited, optimistic, and the other thing. So hopefully, even though we are not young anymore now, but we are still 22, yeah, okay? We are still young 22, like Taylor Swift, we say that. So guys, anyone, thank you so much for this chapter. Thank you so much for this meeting in the book club in chapter 9. I would like to point 2% for the chapter 10. Maybe, okay. I will point Kanya Prasetyo or Brian would like to present in chapter 10. If both of you who's the one that wants to explain about chapter 10, Kanya or Brian is okay. Who's go first?
I don't know exactly this kind of the best opportunity, but I don't know, maybe Kanya wants to go first. I just let Kanya first, maybe.
Okay.
But
Kanya or
I just want to hear from Kanya.
Kanya, do you have time to present for the chapter 10 next week?
Yes.
Yes?
All right. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Yes, finally we got like the presenter from Melbourne University.
No.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time, and we would like to meet again in the chapter 10 next week. If you guys have opportunity to open your camera, I would like to ask you to open the camera for my content, guys. Thank you so much. Okay.
Actually, I want to share a little bit about overdose of hope, but we don't have time enough for this.
Oh
I hope
yeah. If you want,
next
it's
time
okay.
No.
You can
Maybe
ask
next
anybody
time.
if
It's
you
already
want.
late.
Okay.
Ini akan menghancurkan harapan-harapan orang when we said it's overdose. Karena let's back to reality. Okay, then maybe next week it's okay.
Okay,
Let's take a picture.
So kita foto ya, foto dulu. 1, 2. Anyway, Kak Ari. Oke, semua udah. Mbak Mila nggak mau pasang muka. Oke, 1, 2. Oke, 1, 2. Oke, thank you so much guys for your time. Loh, Mas Benny belum muncul lah kau.
Kak Monica, thank you.
Thank you semuanya.
Enak banget.
Bagus banget tadi sharingnya.
Okay, so I would like to say thank you so much, particularly for Rista Monica, for your time, for your presentation you prepare for this in your between your business. I mean, like your tight time in the Manchester. I hope that you can enjoy your winter then. You can enjoy every single snow that maybe you face it on next month. Thank you so much, Monica, for your time. And I hope that
my pleasure.
You can do better on your thesis and come back to Indonesia and bring the usefulness to the others.
Amen.
Amin.
Okay.
Enjoy your time in Manchester.
Amen.
Thank you, Rizka.
Thank you.
Bye semuanya. Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.